Alright, hey guys, back here for another episode of Lincoln Rock Reviews. Today I'm going to be doing Alice in Chains' Dirt. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of jump into this. Actually, let me talk for a second quick so you guys know. I've been pretty under the weather lately, so I'm gonna be sometimes I'll be having a hard time getting things out or having like brain farts, so I do apologize on any of that. But I'm gonna try to do my best for you so I can get more episodes of this discography going. So just give me 3 seconds here, and we will jump into this right away. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Alice in Chains' Dirt. This record came out in 1992, the same year that the record Sap came out, which was the last record that, or the last review we did for Alice in Chains. Now, this was a 13-track album. There's some pretty cool little tiny trivia on here as well that will give you guys a little bit of insight about the band, or well, a band. So now this is the record that was like one of their breakthrough records. It was their breakthrough record, I believe, to be honest. It's definitely has the most well-known songs on it. The only song that they don't have that is probably their other super huge hit would be Man in the Box. But this has, tracks like Them Bones, Damn That River, Down in the Hole, Rooster, Dirt, Angry Chair, and Wood. Again, it's another phenomenal record with tons and tons of hits. There's not a lot to say other than it's just one of those amazingly big records. So the first track is Them Bones. Them Bones is one of those tracks that like you really want to hear them like open up with. Like, it's one of those opener tracks that are just heavy, in your face, and grungy as hell. It's an amazing track. A lot of people know that one. And it's followed up by Damn That River, one of the most catchiest Alice in Chains songs ever. It's again, it's in the same vein as Them Bones, and it just kicks ass. Then it goes into one of my personal favorites off the record, Rain When I Die. This is a more musically interesting song, like I was talking about on Sap, where they developed that really musically interesting, like, I personally want to say that progressiveness, that progressive metal-y feel that was more of an art style than just music. Down in a Hole, this is probably their other super gigantic hit. It's still pretty popular today. Then it goes on to Sick Man. This is a catchy one. It's kind of one of those songs that's a little bit different, kind of wacky, but it's still a pretty cool hard rockin' song. Then it goes on to Rooster. Rooster is the other super major hit. I'd have to say, if you had to like categorize their biggest hits, it would be Got Me Wrong, Down in a Hole, Rooster, and Man in the Box. Those four right there are just like the pinnacle of Alice in Chains. They are the super hits, and those are the songs that you say one of those four songs, everybody just knows you're talking about Alice in Chains. And it's one of those really great tracks that it's one of those ones that's it's hard not to really like. And then it goes into Junkhead. Again, another kind of track that's in the same vein as Sick Man. Dirt. This is going back to that thing that like they started with Rain When I Die. It has that musically interesting, really cool, just a different kind of aspect that was signature Alice in Chains. Then it goes on to a track that actually gave the name of this track is how the name of the a band came to be. They came out in, I believe, '96. The band came out in '96, so about 4 years after this. So 4 years after this record, a band was formed, and this band is a very popular, well-known metal band, or alternative metal band, you can call them. I just like calling them metal because they're just, for me, again, just straight line metal. I would say a couple of their earlier records are really heavy metal. Their records right now are kind of more that alternative metal feel. The band is called Godsmack, and that's the name of track number 9 off of Alice in Chains' Dirt. And it is, I'm pretty sure that Sully said it on a concert DVD when they were answering questions from the crowd. That it was indeed how they got the name for the band. And then it goes on to a track that's called Iron Man. Don't remember this track for some reason. I don't know why I can't remember that track. It's only like a 43-second track. I don't think it was Iron Man. I thought it was Ironclad. I don't know. I thought it was Ironclad. I think they might have the mistyped here. If so, that was like a just kind of random like intro that they used to Hate to Feel and Angry Chair. Hate to Feel is one of those darker songs, and it's kind of in the same vein as the next track, Angry Chair. Angry Chair, that's one of those. It's one of those really memorable tracks that it's one of my top 10 favorite Alice in Chains tracks. I love Angry Chair. There's something about it that's just dark and kind of off that makes it really cool. And then it goes into my hands down favorite Alice in Chains track, and hands down the best closer to anything. And they actually use it as a closer to like I believe 3 or 4. I think almost all of their greatest hit CDs has Wood as a closer. But Wood is, I just love this track. It's definitely has that that signature like harmonious vocals and darker feel, but it's one of those songs that kind of inspires like some of my music. Like if I had to choose like specific songs from bands that inspire like the music that I do personally, because I do write and perform my own music, which I will talk about that at some other point. I'm going to be doing a couple of videos here and there. One to talk about some channels, some of my other channels, and one to talk about my music in general, because I want to have like a YouTube for my music. But we'll deal with that later. But I would say Wood is definitely one of the most inspirational songs for me as a musician. The way I write and the music that I like. Wood is definitely my favorite Alice in Chains track of all time. If I had to, or if I'm going to rate this album, this one was for me personally a 9. For most people, it would be a 9.5, maybe 10, depending on who you are exactly. But this is Alice in Chains' best record. Not personally, I like Facelift the best, but this was like their super big album where everybody remembers this one, and it had just so many hits, and they were the ones that like really shined through. That was like where, although the first album had some pretty major hits, Man in the Box is the only one that was like super major hit, and this one had again Down in a Hole, Rooster, Wood, and you can say Them Bones and Damn My River, because those two tracks, they're very, very, very well known, and they play them a lot. But yeah, I mean, this record is one of the, if I had to say, like, as a critic, if I was viewing this as a critic, rather than just personal, personally, I would say that this is probably one of the top 15, within the top 15 best records in hard rock and heavy metal. Definitely, it is one of those huge landmark albums. It was just a breakthrough for Alice in Chains. If they weren't famous enough already from Facelift, Dirt just took them to a whole nother level, and it's definitely probably one of their biggest albums that they have. The only other one would be the probably the next one. I think that one had three or four or five maybe hits, three or four, something I can't remember. It's Jar of Flies. Everybody knows Jar of Flies for the Nutshell and No Excuses. I believe there was a couple other ones on there. I believe at the time that they were doing Dirt, and in between Dirt and Jar of Flies, sorry again, brain farts. They had done a song for a soundtrack for a popular movie they had Arnold Schwarzenegger. I can't remember the name of it, but the song was I think was only featured on one of their greatest hits CDs. I actually have that CD too. But I think it was in between Dirt and Jar of Flies. But again, Dirt, one of those top huge albums, 9.5 for me personally, which is no, sorry, 9, 9, not 9.5. 9, I would say 9.5 to 10 for other people. Again, there's not a lot I can really say more for this. It's just one of those big, great records. And there wasn't much that I didn't really fully like off the record. There were some songs that I didn't like as much as I liked some of the other songs on the record. But again, it was just another great record, and I would definitely recommend checking it out if you're an Alice in Chains fan and you really haven't heard much from Dirt. Take take some time and listen to the whole thing, all 13 tracks, 57 minutes. It's totally worth it. It's one of those amazing albums. So again, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for 2 more videos tonight. I'm actually going to upload a video that's going to be just kind of me talking out my ass about other stupid stuff. But again, thanks you guys for all the support. I've already reached about 30 or 40 views on my very first video, which I didn't expect that to happen so soon. It's only been as of tomorrow, it will have been like a week, I think. Yeah. And yeah, guys have been giving me some great support. So again, thank you guys, and stay tuned for Jar of Flies next.